It's all of what you tell somebody how your company's set up. So that is like, that's a good question because not many people ask me, but that really means a lot to me. So Steve Lloyd, this is, I don't know how to word this in the right way. I just chose to pay a rate of return. If somebody wanted equity, they just weren't an investor for me. I'm not willing to work my buns off to just, at that time, I do it a little differently today, but at that time, I just wasn't willing to give up equity. But I'm not saying that that was the right thing to do. I just wanted an investor that wanted a rate of return because when you kind of think about it, they are your partner. It's really not the true definition of equity, but when you guys flip, right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
When you do a flip, okay, this is what I would explain to the investor and see if this makes sense to you. When you do a flip and you bring an investor in and pay them a rate of return, do they have any chance of downside?
No.
Like you?
No.
No, because they're getting paid a rate of return. Now, be honest with me, how many flips that you've done, and if you really look at the statistics of your final numbers, if you say, Joey goes and does a flip and he thinks that he's going to make 40 grand and he doesn't make 40 grand, but the investor got 15,000 in interest. And then at the end of the day, you ended up making 30 grand. They ended up making 15,000, right? Mm-hmm. Well, that's a pretty good return on your money where I would tell the investor, you're guaranteed this interest, but you're not guaranteed a profit at the end. And I can't tell you what that profit was going to be. So for them, they go, you know what? I'll take the interest because I want to know what the investor gets to know what they're going to make at the end of the deal at 9 months. If they're just an investor in a rate of return, you can't really tell them what they're going to make at the end of a joint venture, right? They could make 20 grand, 5 grand, 8 grand. That deal that you thought you were going to make 40, you only make 20. Then they might be 25% partner. They only get 7. But when I started Stone Bay and started the fund, now, do you want me to stay back in the 12 years ago? Yeah. That's where, when I started, because you have newbies on here, when I personally when I lend money, I don't take equity. Very rarely. Sometimes I do. Things are different today. But if we go back a couple of years ago, I was lending money and taking equity share of the deal. And I noticed at the end that I would have made more money on my interest return than I was making on my equity return. So it's very different for me now. Now I'm dealing with millions of dollars, so the structures are a little different on different opportunities. But, when I'm lending my personal money, very rarely when I'm funding rehabbers that I'm asking for equity. Because I know when I'm charging, look, I'm not cheap. I'm 4 points and 12. And everyone tells me I can't get 4 and 12, but I get it all day long. Because not only, it's like Shark Tank, right? Not only are they getting my money, they're getting my expertise. They got someone to call 7 days a week, 24 hours a day to ask them questions about their project, how they should structure their company. I can't tell you how many people that I help them with their accounting, because Kerry is an expert in accounting, get all my knowledge over 14 years. And what I notice with the common flipper, investor, real estate holder, they don't understand accounting. They don't understand accounting. And Kerry actually puts policies and procedures and get them to understand how the accounting works. Get a little off topic, I'm sorry.
No,
but it's not the deal. You can have the greatest slice of pizza. You can have the greatest taco restaurant. You can have the greatest cell phone business. It is all about the management of money. It's how the guys that succeed in this business manage money well. Can you guys hear me?
Absolutely, yeah.
Okay. It's about, I used to have a pizza shop. I had an amazing pizza, but if I had sales, employees, and tax distributions and sales tax, if I didn't manage that money, my pizza shop would have went out of business. And that's why you see that most small businesses open up. It's not because they don't have a good product. It's because they can't manage money.
That's very true.
Phew, I'm getting all pumped up, man. Let's do this. What else we got?
No, I'm definitely learning a lot.
Same here.
ridiculous.
This is one. I think this is one of the best podcasts we have.
Yeah, by far.
Well, I'm your first one, right?
No, this is gonna be what, episode like 26 or 7, something like that.
I think it's like 28 or 29.
Yeah.
I'm a little offended that I dropped all the way down to 28 or 29, but it's okay.
Well, I mean, in my defense, I really didn't know you.
Right.
I'm going to talk to Joey here.
Well, now you know me. Now we're friends. Now you can call me whenever you want.